Alright, so off to another video. It's called Racism in the Anime Community Makes No Sense. Yeah. I realized that the Go Anime community or Beyond community wasn't the one who has people with racism on it. Even though it's just a movie or a TV show or funny content or dark humor content like Family Guy, American Dad, South Park. They're just shows, and the creators didn't get any backlash for that. I mean, it's your channel and it's your decisions, not theirs. Anyways, enough with the chat. Let's get on with it.
When you get isekai'd into this world, you don't have a choice as to what class you are. Some of us pop in as a mage, some of us pop up as a brawler. Me, I ended up as black. As you all probably know by now, this class is a pretty controversial one. Some might even say that it has the highest difficulty level out of all the classes. But despite all of these things, I love being black. I also love anime, and nothing will ever change that, but for some reason it feels like there's a lot of people that don't want.
But the food in Japanese sounds like the slur. I mean, no, not the food. I'm an idiot, guys. I mean the word meat in Japanese sounds like the racial slur. You know, with the N word. It sounds like the N word, but it's meat in Japanese. Don't believe me? Go to the translate right here.
Any individuals of my skin color to be a part of anime culture. I feel like more than ever in the 21st century, there's a racist epidemic spreading like wildfire amongst people who don't even really care and just want to make edgy jokes. And it's affecting all corners of the internet. Now, you guys see my channel, alright? I'm not a super political guy. I make irreverent comedy videos about Japanese media. But with all the racially charged events that have been happening lately with ICE and the president of this country, and with all the politics going on in the nerd community itself, I thought this would be the best time to make a video about racism in the anime community and how it makes absolutely no sense.
I know, right? Being sensitive over the fucking movie or a TV show or content or social media edgy jokes. There is nothing wrong with making these types of jokes like Family Guy, American Dad, South Park, and others make some jokes like that, like dark humor jokes or all that. Even though I don't like Family Guy anymore because they're not funny and cringe. When we make these type of jokes, like the N-word jokes that, when only black characters can say, while the creators are white, and we're not even saying it just to offend people, they're just jokes. Some of the people that get very all pissed off and wanted to expose the shit out of us very easy can get offended and just spread a lot of drama and chaos and wildfire. They do not take it that way and just wanted to cause drama and trying to milk it to the flow. Just wanted to get punched in the fucking nose and get their body broken and almost got killed.
There's one moment that I remember vividly to this day. I was sitting on the couch in my living room watching Naruto Shippuden, and my dad walks by and makes a comment. "Why do you watch all of these whitewashed cartoons? I've never seen you watch anything with black people in it." And to that I respond, "These characters aren't white, they're Japanese." At this point when I said this, Naruto himself was on the screen, which gave this guy the perfect ammo. He says to me, "There's no way you're gonna tell me a character with blonde hair and blue eyes is Japanese." And at that point, I was stuck. Little
They're Asian. What the fuck?
14-year-old me didn't know how to respond to
They're
that.
anime.
Comments like that made me
Asian.
think of
What the
how
fuck?
black people were depicted in Japanese media in the 90s, where rather than just being a regular character with black skin, they were more like caricatures of what the mangaka thought black people looked like. The most famous examples are characters like Staff Master Black, Mr. Popo, and Choco Love McDonald. What the fuck is that name? They all kind of had the same features: black skin and comically large lips. Now, there's no secret that black people in the real world have larger features, but I think it's more so the big ass lips that piss people off. It was way too reminiscent of the classic blackface. Now, do I believe these mangaka are inherently racist?
Okay, that looks totally unexpected and offensive a little bit.
No, back then, the population of black people in Japan was lower than my credit score, not even reaching the thousands. Also, social media wasn't as big of a thing as it is now, so a Japanese person could probably go their entire life without seeing a black person. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it wasn't necessarily racism, but more so just misinformation.
Whoa. Guys, the face is on the right. What? Wait. The emoji on the right. Nah. What? Yo. The monkey emoji is not gonna make things any better. They're just gonna make things worse, bro. Come on.
But more so just
Whoever
misinformation,
did this is an
depicting
idiot.
black people how white people would depict us in their media. Another reason is that a lot of anime characters are incredibly white passing, which makes it a lot easier for lighter skinned people to see themselves in these characters. Not to mention that some of these stories don't always take place in Japan. While yes, most of these are fictional settings, some of these stories do mimic places like London or even older civilizations like Rome, which are of course predominantly white. This made it really easy for new fans to exclude black people from the equation. I think another reason for this racism has to deal with how children were ostracized for liking anime at such a young age. From my experience, I wasn't able to find too many other black children that were interested in anime the way I was. And most of the color kids that saw I was interested in that stuff would say things like, "Oh, you like that weird white people stuff," which caused a schism between many black children and their culture.
Bro, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. You can still like anime. Like, what? What kind of dumbass examples are these?
But nowadays, it's a lot different. There are so many black and brown people coming out and expressing their love for all things anime and manga. And crazy impressive strides are being made in the community like DreamCon, an anime convention for black people by black people. But more importantly, the people who actually make anime and manga have become more inclusive and have since added way more black representation. And that leads into my next point.
Still normally
Messages
anime.
about equality and accepting people no matter the size, shape, or color are plastered throughout the most popular anime and manga. There are so many examples of this, but I want to focus on one of the most popular series of the modern.
The funny and confusing example is the Boondocks animation looks like an anime. I'm not even gonna lie, it definitely looks like it. Made from anime.
Day, One Piece. In One Piece, there are clear themes about accepting people for who they are, and instead of judging them by race, you should judge them by their actions. This is especially apparent with characters like Arlong and the entire Fishman population, with Fishmen being discriminated against for being different from the human race. They are seen as inferior and even used as slaves. Of course, there are martyrs that try to advocate for Fishmen and mend the relationship with humans, like Queen
I haven't
Otohime
watched
or Fisher Tiger,
One Piece
but they're
this much
ultimately
since I
killed
went
for their
back to
progressive
Dragon
behavior.
Ball.
And as this hate persists, it indoctrinates the youth like Arlong and Hody Jones to become products of the racism that plagued their country, retaliating against humans in any way they can. The most important part of this is that the way Eiichiro writes this is to clearly
I guess Frieza wasn't a one, huh?
show that racism, bigotry, and hating people because of something they cannot control is wrong and evil. This is shown by Luffy, the main character, not only defeating racism on the Fishman side, but the human side as well.
Right.
And remember, One Piece is one of the most popular stories in the history of stories. And yet there are people that will partake in this racist behavior and still be fans of One Piece. If Luffy existed in real life, y'all would get the Charlos treatment. Not to mention that these themes are also plastered in almost every other other anime story, like Attack on Titan, Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, Full Metal Alchemist, Beastars, Code Geass, Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Maggie, Black Clover, Mobile Suit Gundam. Jesus Christ. Do I have to say more? But somehow racism still runs rampant in the community. I don't get it. Like it truly doesn't make any sense. One of the most recent victims of this vitriolic behavior is Ashley Gail Paxton. Ashley was a 19-year-old black UCLA
I already know like 3 of them.
Student that found joy in cosplaying her favorite anime and video game characters. She amassed a pretty big following under the handle Squid Kid 1111 for her pretty accurate cosplays. However, she would receive a bunch of racist, bigoted, and overall nasty comments because of the color of her skin. Comments like "Migga," "Blacku," and "Shark nigga." I know most people wouldn't show the comments, but I think it's important to see because it stresses my point.
Oh no, that is fucking awful. That is awful. No. You motherfucker.
People are being edgy and racist
because
they want to be
that
funny
is not
without
funny,
any
bro.
regard for the
That
person
is not
behind
funny.
these comment sections. She would end up taking her own life. It's truly a tragic story for someone so young. But I don't only want to focus on the negatives. Let's be progressive. It seems like these bigots don't want us to see ourselves in any of these characters. And they also feel like these characters shouldn't be depicted in blackness, and specifically blackness, because I rarely see any hate for the Mexican Freerin memes. In any space, black people have always had to kick down the door and let themselves in despite what any racists have to say. And that,
you know, if I were them, I would not say these mean things to the cosplayers that are black. The reason I have to censor the F-bombs and the N-words just to avoid my videos getting demonetized. If you guys like uncensored cursing thingies, I'll have it on Patreon.
it's no different here. We have to stop begging Japanese people to give black people more representation, and we have to be the ones to represent ourselves. One thing I can say about the black anime community is that we're always begging for representation.
I mean, Bleach has already got one with the purple hair. That is fine and sexy as fuck, boy.
But then we overlook the actual black creators that are giving us exactly what we want. There are people that are actually making strides and already putting us first in their original creations. If we want to see more representation, the best way to get it is to make it ourselves. And even when they hate on that, that just exposes them for being extra evil and racist. Fuck them niggas, we ball. Go support professional stories like Half Is More.
Oh, I remember this meme. When I just watched, like, the videos of Loud Sis being cringe as all hell.
Them for being extra evil and racist. Fuck them
boy,
niggas, we ball. Go support professional stories like Half Is More by Yoko Fujimi, who is actually a mixed race black and Japanese mangaka. Go support stories like Clock Striker and Apple Black.
You know, this has got to be the most rarest animes that ever mentioned in this video.
Black. There's even smaller creators that create amazing colored manga. Ruthless Render by DD Mark, Golden Mist by Red F Manga, and even me with Crystal Wars, link in the description. At the end of the day, we have to be the change that we want to see. Because no matter how much it doesn't make sense for people to be racist in this community, that's always gonna persist against black people. With everything that's going on, us black nerds have to band together. That's why we have to support things like...
Yeah, I'm no racist in an anime community. I would not.
RDC and DreamCon. We have to support the indie mangaka that are representing us in their works. And we also have to support the actual professional Japanese mangaka like Kei Ura.
Oh, and don't forget to support the autism community because all of this Beyond and YouTube drama, Go Anime drama, that bullies, like, autistic people like me, even though some of these, you know, YouTubers aren't any better, because I make mistakes sometimes, and my enemies did not take it that way. And they just wanted to make fun of us crying, and being suffered. And it was like they're hating autism. I did not mean to do it like that. But they said autism does not excuse you for doing horrific shit, but I didn't do horrific shit. It was just, I didn't know any better. You know? This is why so many YouTubers... This is why these type of groups on YouTube trying to fuck with us are evil. I guess this is the end of this video.